Chapter 74 has finally arrived, with the fight between Vegeta and Granolah heating up. What will happen during their fight? What type of twists and surprises will we see in today's Dragon Ball Super chapter? Well, we're gonna talk all about it right now. How's it going, everyone? InnovativeJdawg here, back again with yet another Dragon Ball Super manga chapter review. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Chapter 74, entitled Vegeta vs. Granolah, where I'm going to break down what happens in this chapter and review everything I loved and didn't love about it. But before I dive deep into the review, make sure you smash that thumbs up button so that other Dragon Ball fans can see this video as well, and also subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date on all my Dragon Ball content. With that being said, let's get right into it. Alright, so if you remember from Chapter 73, we saw the beautifully drawn and choreographed fight between Goku and Granolah. Watching from the sidelines, Vegeta started to uncover the mystery behind who Granolah truly was, and why he had such malicious feelings towards both he and Goku. After putting all the pieces together, Vegeta realized that the Heaters gang must have set them up to confront Granolah, and that they're all being tricked into fighting one another. After learning of this new information, Goku decided to tap into his silver-haired version of Ultra Instinct as one final last resort in defeating Granolah, who revealed that he wasn't even fighting Goku to begin with, and was instead using a clone in order to conserve stamina. Catching Goku off guard, Granolah knocks him back into his base form and quickly wins their matchup, leaving Vegeta as the only person left standing in his way. Chapter 74 picks up right where Chapter 73 left off, with the Shigurian people evacuating their cities after those large tremors and explosions caused from Goku's fight with Granolah. Back with Vegeta and Granolah, Vegeta explains that clones and fusion techniques won't work against him, but Granolah insists that he won't need to use those techniques any longer, as he was only trying to save his strength in order to confront Vegeta's boss, Frieza. Scoffing at this remark, Vegeta tells Granolah that he parted ways with Frieza's army a long time ago, and considers the evil space tyrant an enemy himself, just like Granolah. Laughing at this, Granolah calls Vegeta pathetic, believing that he's only trying to betray his boss just to save his own life. Oatmeal then pipes up and tells Granolah that maybe these two Saiyans are telling the truth, but Granolah dismisses the idea. Vegeta continues to try and make peace with Granolah by telling him that he and Goku have no affiliation with the attack on planet Cereal, as he was just a child when Granolah's planet was attacked. Granolah says that it doesn't matter and that his plan for revenge is against all of the Saiyans, regardless if they were responsible or not for the death of his people. After having no luck in trying to talk Granolah down, Vegeta decides that he doesn't need to hold back in their inevitable fight, and he instantly powers up to Super Saiyan Blue. Placing his hands on the ground, Vegeta launches a bunch of rocks into the air around Granolah and rapidly uses the Hakai technique to blow them all up at the same time, creating a large explosion all around Granolah. Unfortunately, Granolah managed to get out of the way just in time, as we see him floating in the air behind Vegeta. He taunts the Saiyan by telling him that his destructive power pales in comparison to his own, and he tries to one-up Vegeta by lifting a gigantic chunk of ground behind him and destroying it just like Vegeta had done. I've said this before, but I think it's very interesting that Granolah has his own variation of the Hakai technique, and each time we see him use it, it's made abundantly clear that he's getting better with the technique. So I'm very curious to see how much he'll improve alongside Vegeta's own training as the arc progresses. Back to the fight though, the destruction of that boulder knocks Vegeta forward, and Granolah immediately follows up by punching Vegeta in the stomach, hard. Vegeta recoils from the attack and fires an energy blast towards Granolah, who teleports out of the way and into the sky. Vegeta launches himself into the air and the two exchange a flurry of punches before Granolah kicks the Saiyan back down to the ground towards a river, where he bounces like a rock skipping water. After recovering, Vegeta doesn't get much time to breathe before Granolah dashes down towards him and continues his onslaught of attacks. Being pushed backwards along the surface of the river, Vegeta blocks all of Granolah's punches before being kicked down into the river. Granolah begins firing a barrage of finger beams into the water, forcing Vegeta to quickly swim around, dodging all of them as the two head towards a nearby waterfall. Dashing out of the water, Vegeta quickly descends down the side of the waterfall and dives back into the water as Granolah's finger beams continue to assault him. With water splashing up from his attacks, Granolah loses sight of Vegeta, who emerges from the water way down the stream. After catching sight of the Saiyan once more, Granolah does this really cool technique where he draws his hands apart, pulling and stretching his ki to flow like a bow and arrow. He tells Oatmeal to turn on aimbot, and Granolah waits for Vegeta to travel into a nearby lake, so then there's no obstacles that can block his shot, and when the Saiyan falls into the right spot, Granolah shoots this bow and arrow blast towards him. Vegeta tries to block the attack underwater, but it proves to be too much for him, so he squeezes his hands together and destroys the attack, which sends him flying onto the sandy beach. Granolah floats over to Vegeta as he gets to his feet, and he compliments him for being stronger than he expected. He reminds Vegeta that he's still the strongest in the universe and tells him that their fight is pointless, but Vegeta says that he's actually going to win this match even if Granolah is much more powerful. Meanwhile, Goku tries to get up from the crater that he's in, but the wound left in his chest from Granolah sends a shocking amount of pain throughout his body. Vegeta and Granolah pass overhead, and Goku watches in awe as the two exchange a flurry of punches before Vegeta is knocked back down to the ground. Vegeta fires a barrage of energy blasts towards Granolah, who destroys all of them with ease, but it turns out that Vegeta just wanted to distract him long enough to get the drop on him from behind. Granolah reacts by firing a beam towards the Saiyan, who leaps over the incoming attack, and the beam travels downwards towards the ruins of Granolah's hometown. Vegeta begins to taunt Granolah for destroying something so precious to him, which angers Granolah greatly. I think it's great how on top of this threatening demeanor, Vegeta just keeps pushing Granolah's buttons and is slowly whittling him down, making him sloppy and brash with his attacks. Vegeta then reveals that he knows Granolah's power was only recently acquired because he's not used to this amount of power. He knows this because Granolah lacks battle experience, and instead of putting this power to training, he's relying solely on his superior strength to try and put the Saiyans down. Granolah explains that he didn't need any training and that the power he's gained is how he's going to win this match, but Vegeta retorts by saying that the outcome of a battle is never set in stone. There could always be surprises and twists that could change the tide of a fight, and that's why he loves fighting so much. Granolah lunges forward and continues attacking Vegeta, who continues taunting Granolah by telling him that it doesn't matter if you're ranked as the strongest or the second strongest, because those sentiments only reflect a particular moment in time. It's why characters like Cell, Raditz, or even the Demon King Piccolo were all strong at those particular moments in history, but they're not really strong compared to characters like Moro or Granolah. I love this statement because it just goes to show how much Vegeta has developed since his debut in the Saiyan saga. In fact, I actually think Granolah is supposed to represent Vegeta's younger mentality, where he too was a hot-headed warrior who had no understanding of what it meant for a trained warrior to surpass him, and this, in a way, is Vegeta's way of confronting his old beliefs. Vegeta continues to try and taunt Granolah, who tosses his hand forward and strikes Vegeta's stomach by piercing through his armor. This was the very same attack he used to defeat Goku, and we see it work on Vegeta as well, who drops back down into his base form and spits up blood on Granolah's arm. Vegeta starts to laugh and tells Granolah that their battle has been fun. He hasn't felt this way in ages, which confuses Granolah. The Saiyan tells the Cerulean that he doesn't have a planet to protect or anybody to save, so this is the first time in a long time that he's just been able to fully immerse himself in battle, in his happy place. He raises his head, and in a beautifully drawn panel that instantly reminded me of Toriyama's artwork from the original Dragon Ball manga, Vegeta tells Granolah that his Saiyan blood has just started pumping. Granolah decides to back off, and Vegeta immediately starts to power up. A pillar of flames surrounds Vegeta's body and spirals up towards the sky, catching the attention of both Oil and Goku, who says that Vegeta's ki has just changed. He says that it still feels like God Ki, but it feels different somehow. Granolah tries firing into the pillar of flames, but they quickly evaporate upon contact, and all at once, the flames disperse around Vegeta's body. In shock, Granolah watches as Vegeta reveals his brand new transformation, and Vegeta tells Granolah that the God of Destruction taught him that power derived solely from instinct is unbounded. The chapter ends there. And I'm just gonna say it up front, I think this chapter has been my absolute favorite from the entire Granolah arc thus far. I didn't find a single fault with it at all. Just like the previous chapter, the artwork and the battle choreography was amazingly well done. Comparing this to the early chapters of Dragon Ball Super, Toyotaro's work has improved tremendously, and I just can't wait to see how much he continues to improve moving forward. I absolutely loved the pacing of Vegeta's battle with Granolah, and it was really easy to follow from panel to panel. Just like Goku's duel with Granolah in the forest where they were dodging all the trees and flying in between them, I loved the sequence where Vegeta was fighting Granolah on top of the river and in the water. I desperately think that Dragon Ball needs to continue to incorporate environmental aspects into their fight sequences because it would make me very happy. And it's a good thing that the action in this chapter was fantastic because the vast majority of this chapter was non-stop action. There was very little story exposition and progression, but I personally didn't mind it. Like I said, the action was not only displayed very well, but there were a lot of cool and interesting moments sprinkled on top of that amazing artwork that made this battle feel fresh and fun. It wasn't just another slugfest. For instance, there were a lot of really cool techniques and strategies that I loved seeing. My personal favorite was that bow and arrow key technique used by Granolah. It was such an interesting and unique idea that I want to see more of this attack in the future. But of course, I think my favorite aspect of this chapter was the characterization of Vegeta. I really loved the exchanges that he had with Granolah and all of those moments where he kept trying to one-up him by telling him that strength didn't matter if it was untrained. It's very blatant that his duel with Granolah is the physical embodiment of his modern mentality confronting his younger mentality. But on the flip side, I think it's very important that Granolah is being told all of this from Vegeta himself. Granolah is no doubt going to be a vastly different person by the end of this arc, and he's going to undergo so much character development that I think this is the perfect place for him to start that development. Finally, we of course have to talk about Vegeta's new God of Destruction transformation. I've already made a video discussing this new form, mostly going in detail about its design, so if you want to check that video out for a more detailed discussion, link will be down in the description, or you can click the card in the top right of this video. Regardless, I've actually grown to appreciate this form a bit more than I first did when making that video. I do think the design is a bit goofy due to the lack of eyebrows, but everything else I'm absolutely sold on. If the flames for the form turn out to be purple, and if the hairstyle turns out to be black, but with a slight purple hue to it as opposed to a bright purple, I think the overall appearance of this form will be a good one, and it could open up some ideas for some future ideas in this arc. I'm hoping that we'll learn more about this form in the next few chapters, such as, is this an unmastered and incomplete form, like Goku's Ultra Instinct Omen? Can it be mastered to an even greater extent, or is this the full culmination of Vegeta's God of Destruction training? Is Vegeta now stronger than Granolah thanks to this form, or is the Cerulean still the strongest in the universe? There's a lot of unanswered questions that I would love to explain in greater detail throughout the month, but for now, all we can do is speculate until the next chapter drops. Overall though, this chapter was my absolute favorite of the Granolah arc thus far. I couldn't find any initial complaints with this chapter as the action and artwork were fantastic, the characterizations of both Vegeta and Granolah were amazing, and the way that they interacted was very interesting, and I love the concept of Vegeta's new form. I'm just hoping that we'll actually get a name for it in the next chapter where we'll inevitably see it in all its glory. But until we do get chapter 75, what did you all think of chapter 74? Did you enjoy this chapter, or did you have any complaints about it? What do you think about Vegeta's new God of Destruction form? Leave your thoughts down in the comments and let me know your opinions on the future of this arc. I would love to hear all of your ideas, so please comment, and while you're at it, go ahead and smash that thumbs up button to help push this video into YouTube's algorithm. The more likes this video has, the more likely it is that other Dragon Ball fans like yourself will also see this video. Plus, it gives me an idea of how much you enjoyed today's content. While you're at it, click that subscribe button and turn on post notifications by clicking that bell icon. That way, you'll be able to see whenever I upload a new video. If you're a fan of all things Dragon Ball, you'll definitely want to stick around because I make a ton of content, ranging from reviews, discussions, speculation videos, and so much more. If all that interests you and you want to support the channel, you'll definitely want to subscribe and stick around for more of my Dragon Ball related videos. As always though, thank you all so much for watching today's video, I hope you enjoyed. Until my next video though, I will be seeing all of you Dragon Ball fans later. See ya!